Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Victoria and I'm really happy you are here. This wrap-up video is going to be really diversified, the same as my reading taste. It actually shows my reading taste pretty well. I love reading different genres depending on my mood. And today we are going to talk about thriller, romance, historical fiction, non-fiction, and fantasy. I have 10 and a half books here in total, and you will get it about that half pretty soon. I will start off from my big achievement, which is I have almost finished the Harry Potter series. It's the first 7-book series in my life, and the first series at all that I read. I am in the beginning of the 7th book right now, but I feel ready to talk about it today. It's a bit difficult for me to evaluate the book somehow because I watched the movies so many times that reading the books felt like watching the movies in the expanded version, but I will try to describe my own impressions. One thing I found different from the very beginning is that you can feel the abuse from Dursley family toward Harry much better in the books. It felt just monumental. He was living such a miserable life in their house. I felt sorry for him all the way. In other things, I can say first 3 books are the same as the movies. Oh God, I totally forgot to show you the books. I was reading Harry Potter in Ukrainian, and this is the Ukrainian edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I will show you all the books so you can see the covers. This is the first one. Then I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and then Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So from the 4th book, which is the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, you can definitely tell the difference. For example, in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Hermione is deeply concerned about the house elves and their rights. She thinks they are being enslaved and treated unfairly, so she founds this organization which is called the Society for the Promotion of Elfish Welfare. And here, when she started annoying me, although I liked her character in the movies, because she wants to liberate them and never really asks them if they need it. She does things that might bring her intentions into life, leaving them with nothing, not understanding how to live on. Then there is this poltergeist that causes chaos in every single book and who was entirely cut in the films. Then the creation of Marauders, I believe it's called, map, was a big surprise for me in the books. Then I have the 5th book here, which is the Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, just so you can change the picture here. In all of the following parts, there are several scenes as well, but those would contain spoilers, so I'm not disclosing them, but they are really worth your attention. And I do understand why many scenes were cut from the films, but many of those I would really like to see on the screen. I'm telling you all these because if you are like me, in love with the films, but not sure if you want to read the books and think that you can't find anything new there, it's absolutely not true. So I was kind of tired finishing the 5th book, and I set it even aside to read something else. But now when I started the 7th book, I want to set it aside again, but this time because I don't want to leave this world and I don't want this story to end. I just want to leave there a little bit more. Things happening in the Deathly Hallows just make me cry. Also, I listened to the books partially, and now with the 7th book, I want to only read it, not listen, if you know what I mean. To sum up, this reading was really enjoyable for me, and I even want to reread these books again. Not soon, but I will do, and I will undoubtedly rewatch the movies next year. Also, if you'd like to know, my favorite one from the series was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and the least favorite was Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, which was just too depressing and too long. Almost like 900 pages, I guess, 800 pages. Too long. And that's all I have to say about the Harry Potter series. Let's move on to the next one. And it's Never Lie by Freida McFadden, a thriller. I haven't read way too many thrillers in my life, and I don't have a lot to compare with. But for me, this genre, the main thing is you want it to be a page turner, and this is what I'm looking for when I take this kind of book. This book is about a couple who get stuck in a snowstorm, and then they end up in this creepy house that used to belong to a missing psychiatrist. As the main character starts digging through old patient recordings, she uncovers some seriously dark secrets and things begin to spiral. For me, it was 3.75, closer to 4 stars, because I saw the gaps and I had questions to some characters' actions. But otherwise, it's fast-paced, twisty, kept me guessing all the time, and was not what I expected it to be in the end, although I was almost sure I knew what's coming. Spoiler, I did not. I have other books by this author, which are The Housemaid and The Boyfriend. I will definitely read them. And also, I would really appreciate your good thriller recommendation in the comments, because I feel like I need a good thriller. Next 2 books I will show you together because I read them one after another. This is the second book that I have in English edition, The Marriage Game by Alison Weir. I actually read them in Russian, and the first book is called Lady Elizabeth. This is how it looks like in Russian edition. These books are both about Elizabeth I Tudor, who was the Queen of England and Ireland and the daughter of Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII. The first book follows her early life and the years before she becomes a queen. I did like the plot. It tells a lot about her feelings and if she wanted to become a queen or not, what she knew and thought about her father and mother. And even though she never met and saw her mother, she resembled her a lot. And I like that she was quite strong and clever even when young, and used her mind to survive. But something about writing in this book does not appeal to me, and I don't know why authors do that. I felt the same when I read The Innocent Traitor by the same author, when I read Another Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory, or some books by Maurice Druon, and it's all the same with these books. The language is so simple, but not in a good way. Yes, it's easy to understand it and to remember different historical facts, but it does not correspond with the era being depicted in the book. For example, reading Jane Austen novel, you always feel the time and the atmosphere, and here it's obvious that the writer is modern. Maybe something is wrong with the translation because I didn't read the original, but I didn't like it. And then The Marriage Game by the same author. I want to sell this one so badly. I just absolutely dislike it. I did my best to read it, and I read half of the book, but then I just DNF'd it because it annoyed me so much. I couldn't stand what was going on. Why? Well, I think it's not a spoiler that Elizabeth I was a virgin, but she had an affair with one of her courtiers, Lord Robert Dudley. And here the name tells you everything about the plot. All the story revolves around their affair and how he wanted her, but she didn't want to sleep with him and preferred to do anything, give him titles, possessions, but not sleep with him. And around her not wanting to marry anyone despite being under a constant pressure. Yes, there was intrigue, politics, and a lot of drama, but it was just not for me. And I feel really skeptical about all the other books I have by Alison Weir on my shelves. Next book is a non-fiction, and it looks the same both in English and in Ukrainian. So I will hold the English edition for you so you are more familiar with it. I have no idea why I bought this book, because I was just looking through the books on the website where I usually order them and saw this one, had an impulse, bought it. It came to me. I started reading it after a week. I did not know anything about Crystal Havner, who she was, like nothing. So for those of you who don't know, Crystal Harris was one of Hugh Hefner's beloved favorite girls, and then she became Crystal Hefner, like the wife of Hugh Hefner. This is a story about her life before Playboy happened to her, her father, her family, her boyfriend, her insecurities which she had a lot. And of course, about her life in the Playboy Mansion, her relationship with Hugh Hefner, about the mansion itself, and people living and working in there. But most of all, this book was about a girl who had no idea what she wanted from her life, and she was constantly trying to find herself in this world, and I really felt sorry for her. There was always a thought in my head while I was reading, run girl. Just, this is not what you need, run out of here. Definitely not the best book I've read, but if you're interested in reading about different people's life from different walks of life, then give it a try. I guess I just realized that I read this book because I was curious why people, women in particular, make this choice to marry 80-year-old man and sleep with him. Obviously, number one reason for me was money, but if you read this book, you will understand there are many others. Also, I like the English edition more because in my Ukrainian one, there are no pictures, and here in the English one, you can find really beautiful and those that can tell you much about life in the mansion. And then the last book I have for today is Flawless by Elsie Silver, which is the first book from Chestnut Springs series, the cowboy small town romance. The story follows Red Eaton, a professional, I would say, classic bad boy bull rider. His actions and lifestyle lead to a public scandal, and his agent, to save his career, assigns his daughter Summer to supervise Red for the season, so she has to live in his house and stay with him all the time, which he obviously does not appreciate a lot. I like Summer's attitude and energy a lot. Also, how she realizes by the end of the book what she wants from her life. The author describes really well how hesitant she is, but still listens to her gut and takes control over her life, which leads to a very logical ending for me, both from her and Red's sides. Red is kind of a person who hides his deep emotional wounds behind smiles and jokes, but he's actually very kind and very vulnerable. I also liked his family a lot, which makes me curious about the following books, and I did love their chemistry. So in general, satisfied and would recommend. These are all of the books I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope you enjoyed the video and feel inspired to read some of them. Please subscribe not to miss the future videos. Give a thumb up to this one, comment so we can discuss these books or any other books. All of these actions will really support me and my channel. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.